What's going on, guys? So, welcome to another live stream. And today I'm going to talk about a lot of common questions that come my way. One of the most common questions is, when is the new protocol for the H3 coming out? And I know you guys are excited. I'm very excited as well, but I am in no position to publish the new protocol. So I'm going to wait for Dr. J to publish it, spread the word exactly as he wants to. And then I'll just jump in on the topic and I'll share my 2 cents. But it is very exciting and it is mostly focused on the sarcoplasmic growth, which means that the size of the muscle is primary focus, not strength. You're not going to be gaining as much strength as you used to with the progressive overload, but the folks that already gained a whole bunch of strength and are not really used to the strength gaining, but mostly um, want to build a lot of mass, a lot of big muscles, rounder, more vascularity. This is going to be a great protocol. And I would also say that this protocol also brings more fat burn into the game. Definitely more fat burn. It's just a matter of setting it up right. And here we go. It's going to be ready for everybody. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comment. But one of the most common questions that I get, how come I'm following the protocol? I'm eating one meal a day. I'm training with the H3 for a year, year and a half, and I'm not getting as much results. Like my weight is not changing much. My body fat is not changing much. Well, first of all, a lot of people don't go to absolute failure, even though they think they do. I work with people every day, and oftentimes I see people not going to absolute failure. Sometimes skipping the partials, sometimes not hitting the proper reps. They do about 8, 7 full reps, then go to partials. It's not going to trigger a whole lot of growth. It's going to trigger a whole lot of strength gain, that's for sure, but not a whole lot of growth in the muscle and not a whole lot of changes in the body composition. So then the meal plan, one meal a day for a long period of time, being in a calorie deficit. That's one of the main things that I point out in my book that you can find on Amazon, Weight Loss Without Plateau, is that being in a calorie deficit every single day for a long period of time is not a smart idea. Why? Because you're going to slow down the metabolism, guaranteed. You're not going to get the same response as in the beginning, 3 months in, 4 months in. Why? Because the metabolism will be adjusting to your current calorie intake. It's as simple as that. Every single human organism is going to try to adapt to the current situation with a nutrient deficiency. So the body doesn't want to fall apart naturally. It doesn't want to give up its precious resources, which in this case is the excessive energy that's stored in a fat cell. So it's going to be forced to slow down the function of your organs, which is the basal metabolism. And the basal is going to drop and drop and drop until the body finds homeostasis in a calorie deficit. And that's when you still consume and always consume calories in your deficit and consume very little food and not much is changing with the body and not burning fat. You're not changing the composition. The body is staying pretty much the same. In order to prevent that, you have to incorporate a couple of high calorie days into the mix. A couple times a week, you have to eat sufficient amount of food. I recommend starting with 3 high days, 4 low days. So 4 times a week, you can drop in a deficit. You can do some fasting. And then a couple days a week, you don't do no fasting at all. Not at all. You do breakfast, lunch, and dinner and more food. You actually do exact opposite from what you do on the low days. So low days, you eat 1 meal a day, small meal. On high days, you eat multiple times a day, larger meals, and overall food intake is going to be much higher. Now, that's going to prevent the metabolism from slowing down. You're going to be able to get consistent results. Now, a lot of people don't do anything else except the H3. So they're not really physically active throughout the day. They work their jobs. They don't do a whole lot of walking. They don't do any kind of physical activity, no walking up and down stairs, nothing, just sit in a cube. That's another problem. You definitely do need to have at least walking incorporated in your daily routine. The walking is just a basic movement that you have to keep up. That's why in my coaching program, I have my people walk 10 to 12,000 steps a day. And that turns out to be a great um, helper in weight loss, definitely. Another thing that you can incorporate is sauna. Sauna is pretty underrated in weight loss. Yeah, but sauna sweats only the water. As soon as you sweat out the water, you drink up, you're going to get back on the previous weight and you're not going to lose anything, right? No, not at all. Sauna delivers a lot of benefits, including better blood pressure. There's clinical studies that show that sauna is actually capable of delaying or postponing brain disease such as Alzheimer, Parkinson, dementia, and all the others, spiking the growth hormone, dropping the cortisol, and overall relaxes the body and opens up the blood flow in your cardiovascular system. So it allows the blood and oxygen to flow through the body more efficiently. I love some sauna, that's for sure. I like to stress out my body with extreme temperatures, not only high, but also low. So I do some sauna, I do some cold plunge, and I mix it up. So I can have all kinds of biological stress. Human body is interesting. It doesn't really change or improve unless there is a biological stress. Um, I wish that wasn't the case, but it actually is. So you have to physically stress the body out with the resistance training, with the temperatures, with the hunger, to activate defenses that eventually make the body better, healthier, and better looking. Autophagy, one of the great examples of um, hunger stress on the body. Actually, the body enters the state of a cleansing. So it's going to kill all the unnecessary cells that are half functioning or they are actually not functioning at all. Proteins that are not working properly. It breaks everything down and it spills the beans on the table and picks the healthy ones and builds a brand new cell out of it, brand new protein out of it, and rest of it that's not usable anymore is going to be thrown into waste. That's pretty much autophagy. It's a beautiful cleanse system. It's actually a recycle system because you use an old material to break it down, and from that old material, you can actually rebuild brand new materials within the body, all within the body that's in the state of autophagy. So that's just another example of biological stress actually helping your body. Um, so when you're trying to stress the body out, you have to have a very reasonable balance in between the recovery and the stress. You have to train properly. You can't be too sore, but you also have to deliver enough stimulus to change. When it comes to extreme temperatures, it can be excessive. It has to be just the right amount. Overall, when you're moving towards better health and better overall body composition, you shouldn't really feel too exhausted. You shouldn't really feel sick or bad or anxious, stressed out, hungry, none of that. There's going to be some point in your weight loss that you'll just have to push through some hunger. But it shouldn't be very aggressive. It shouldn't be very unbearable. You should still be able to function throughout the day. That's the type of a stress that you're looking for in the weight loss, but that's when you're about 80, 90% done and you only got remaining 10 to 20% to lose. And you really have to, tap in deep and do some prolonged fast and do some 48-hour fast and stuff like that. That's when you're really going to feel a little hunger or discomfort. And sometimes it's not even necessary. It really depends. It's a very individual thing. So that's in terms of the weight loss. But about the muscle building, the new protocol that's coming out is just a phenomenal design for the muscle building and the muscle size. And I would also say that it delivers a little better fat burn than the protocol before. So I think that's for the people who are looking to change the composition of the body. Now, another question that I often get is, what do I do if I don't want to be carnivore? Or I don't want to do carnivore diet 100%. Listen, carnivore study that has been done by Harvard, the subjects that been participating and gotten phenomenal results were 85% carnivore, 15% was a little bit of fruits, a little bit of berries or fruits, but also they drank some wine. Believe it or not, they also drank some wine. So they were not 100% at all, and they got all these phenomenal results, such as diabetics got off of insulin, type 2 diabetics, they stop taking metformin and oral forms of diabetes medication. Many people reported positive effects of any kind of disease, weight loss, remission of autoimmune disease. All of that happened within 85% of carnivores. So if you can't commit yourself to 100%, remember 85% is still better than nothing. We got a question here from athlete. Any updates on the new H3 protocol? Push pull leg split, number of reps shooting for. So, as I mentioned before, I'll wait for Dr. J to publish it. I don't want to be the one who starts a new topic, a new discussion about it. But once when it's published, I am definitely going to jump in and share my 2 cents on it, and of course provide you guys with the information and answer all your questions. So yeah, the updates are there. The protocol is working, up and running. It's just a matter of when Dr. J wants to publish it, and then I'll jump in and I'll answer everything about it to detail. Until then, I just have to wait and respect the time that it takes for this protocol to be published. But I think you guys will be overall happy. I think you guys will be very happy with what's coming out, especially that feeling of tightness throughout the day. You feel tighter muscles if you're more pumped, and you're getting more of that bodybuilder-like physique with the sarcoplasmic growth for sure. And it's easier. I would say it's easier too. This type of protocol is easier, that's for sure. With the progressive overload, you push yourself to absolute fatigue with very, very heavy bands. But with this kind of protocol, it's not as heavy, not that much stress on your central nervous system. You don't feel as exhausted and drained after the workout as after the progressive overload. So I do have people using progressive overload when I see they need to build strength. Let's say if I did a client who's 65, 70 years old, and they have trouble getting up from the chair, or trouble doing just basic stuff, really, like walking around and doing daily activities is hard for them. They are a perfect candidate for the progressive overload. You just have to get stronger. There's no way around it. You have to get stronger until everything becomes easy. And that's when we can start focusing on that beautiful muscle mass and getting the body composition ready to look like potentially athlete if you want to go that far. And then it's just a matter of your diet. If you can be consistent with the diet, you're gonna get athlete looking like a body for sure. But that's with the new protocol. Now back to the diet. You also have to be very honest with yourself. If you want to lose weight, that's one thing. You're gonna commit yourself to certain diet that is pretty aggressive and quick for the weight loss. Everybody can do that temporarily. Everybody can bite their tongue and just simply work hard, diet hard, feel uncomfortable for a certain goal. But eventually, when you hit that goal, you have to come up with a new lifestyle that is not going to be as extreme, but it's also going to maintain the results that you've gotten during the protocol, during the program. And that's why I see often a lot of people slip up, because let's say you finally get to shredded physique and you finally have the six pack and you finally have the body that you wanted. You start feeling like now you know what you're doing. Now you can reward yourself. You can have a little bit of Reese's cups, and you can have a little bit of cupcake and a little bit of cake, a little bit of pizza, burrito, tacos, whatever, name it. I would say that's a slippery slope for many people. A lot of people just get sidetracked and they start cheating daily. Instead of once in a while cheat, they incorporate cheating every single day, and then they increase the amount of that cheating. So instead of one Oreo cookie, they 4, 5 post workout, and they'll find a reason why they're doing it. It's gonna make sense in their head, and actually, it's actually beneficial. A lot of people have those explanations for themselves, and eventually you start gaining and gaining and gaining body fat, but you just don't want to get back into that uncomfortable level of dieting. It's been enough. It's been a lot. So you're going to get into a little psychological warfare against yourself, where you're not supposed to be cheating that much, but you can't stop it. And I would say that's not a proper balance in your diet. That's when you're actually going to cheat more and feel guilty and trying to balance it out by dieting more hardcore and throwing yourself into a 48, 72-hour fast to punish yourself, not to actually gain benefits of the fasting. That's not a healthy relationship with food at all. So you have to look at your plan realistically after you lose all the weight, after you get to your goal. Say, okay, what can I do? What can I do long term? I cannot do 100% carnivore. Okay, do 85%. Well, what about the 15%? Well, I've had people who told me, hey, I cannot live without walnuts. You said it. You said it. Am I going to say walnuts is the best option? No. But you said you will not live without them. So just don't eat a lot of them. That's the best balance you can have. If there are certain foods that you know you have to eat for the rest of the life just to feel satiated and not to cheat, well, just incorporate them on daily basis. It's still just 15%. It's a minority of your food intake from the other foods than carnivore. You can still maintain phenomenal results 85% carnivore. Easy. Easy. I do that with people all the time. You know, I know the benefits of carnivore and I stand behind them, but I also work with people and I have to be realistic. And when somebody cannot do 100%, I don't force them. I just help them find the best balance. And I know that the 15% of whatever it is, most people don't go after the worst foods. They don't go after the worst junk. That remaining 15% is not going to set them back. So that's why I would say about the diet. We have another question. I have an Aura ring that tracks my heart rate, calories. Should 30 minutes of HIIT cardio achieve a certain amount of calories burned at that time? Keep going until the calorie goal is met. So you don't really have to shoot for the amount of calories that you burn. You're really shooting for about 6 or 7 massive hits, and that usually takes about 30 minutes if you rest well enough. If you have a really good cardio, it might take you a lot less, but about 6 really good hardcore hits. And we're not going for calories, we're actually going for a hormonal response. It's going to spike your growth hormone, which certainly will. So you jump on the bike, let's say a stationary bike, and you sprint for a dear life. You go as fast as you can, you're giving it your all. Your head is completely tense, and just the body is sprinting. And after about 15 seconds, you will naturally start failing. That's a natural process. So you try to push yourself, couple more seconds, but it just the body doesn't go. Like the feet just don't pedal anymore, and that's when you get off. Of course, your heart rate is going to go up, and you just take a break. You just take a break. How long of a break? Well, to feel rested enough to perform 100% again. So there's no time frame that you have to stick to. It's more of an internal feeling. Once when you feel 100%, you jump on the bike again and you repeat the same process. You do about 6 sets of the HIIT cardio. That's a perfect HIIT cardio session. You have a bike, perfect. That's what you can use. You can use bike. You can use all sorts of stuff. Whatever you have in home. You don't have to get a gym membership for that. If people don't have access to any cardio machine, usually I just get them a jump rope or something like that, something easy that they can do at home. And that routine is just really good. HIIT cardio is a good addition to the workouts. And then you just have to make sure that the intensity of your physical activity on a daily basis is sustainable. Like I said, if it's for the weight loss purpose and you know you're going to do it temporary, you can go a little more hardcore. You can go more intense. But if you're planning on incorporating HIIT cardio forever in the long run, we have to think how we're going to combine your H3 routine with the HIIT cardio, with walking, and just to make sure that that's something you can do on a daily basis. Make sure that you're not overwhelmed. That's what I would say is the major key. When you want to do something daily, it has to be sustainable. So heart rate spikes are more important than amount of energy calorie expended. Exactly. You want to get the heart rate as high as possible. That's when the most drastic hormonal response in the body happens. So the calories, we don't even have to measure them. We don't have to worry about them. but we do have to worry with how intense we push the body. And the more intense, the more biological stress you create, the better hormonal response you will get. And those hormones will then do the work for you. So that's the whole point of a HIIT cardio. And then we just get enough walking in, we get good H3 routine, we stick to the diet. And one thing is for sure, if you're not getting results that you want, there's something wrong with the program protocol that you're following. Something somewhere. But my diet is perfect. Well, if it was, you would be getting tremendous results. But my workout is perfect. Well, if your diet and workout was perfect, you would definitely see progress on a weekly basis. It's one of my musts on my coaching program. I need to see my clients progress every week. And if they're not, then I need to make some changes so they can actually progress on a weekly basis. Because 7 days is usually enough to progress in whatever direction you want to go. If you're trying to put on muscle, you're going to feel a little tighter. Not a whole lot. You're not going to look more muscular, but you feel a little tighter. You can feel it on your shirts. You can feel it without a shirt, but nobody can see it yet because 7 days hasn't been enough. But you let those 7 days repeat 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That's when the visible changes come, and your wife tells you, I think you look a little bit leaner. I think you look a little bit more muscular. And that's just the consistency of repeating these 7 days of consistent results. Make sense? So body can actually reply pretty quickly. It doesn't have to be months and months and months until you see a little results. I would argue that's actually not a good thing. You're doing something wrong if you have to wait months and months and months for the response. I can get my clients down in a weight, up in a weight, manipulate with the body on a weekly basis fairly quickly, and it's not that there's something special with their bodies, not at all. I just understand the human body a little bit better after about 11 years of doing it. I kind of came up with the protocol that I don't want to change anymore. I don't want to change anymore. This works very, very well. In order for me to add something to my program, I would have to deeply research it and try it and put it through a lot of tests for it to qualify to incorporate it in my programs and start applying it in my clients, because right now things are set up very, very well. So I would encourage people to watch the response of their bodies. And if they cannot feel or notice anything in a week, they might be eligible for an upgrade of their program. Because if 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks pass, they still don't feel or see any changes, well, the probability of not seeing any changes in 6 months is very high. There's a difference in between slow progress, and there's a difference of between not getting anywhere at all. So I want people to remember that, because sometimes they think it takes very, very long time to just notice a change. No, not at long, not at long. So for today, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining my live stream. We went through some basic topics and basic questions that I'm getting. If you have any more questions, you can always DM me on DM Trainer on Instagram. I'll be making these live streams more and more often to answer any of your questions. So I just started doing these live streams so I can see that the attendance is pretty low, which I'm used to. I've been doing these live streams for over 10 years in my native language, in my Slovakian language. And I know when you start doing these live streams on a new platform, it takes a long time for them to pick up and have some community of people to ask questions and go back and forth and communicate with you more often. So next time, if you join in again, which I would be very happy to see you, ask any questions in a comment. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. I'll be more than happy to answer it. But like I said, I understand it just takes time to grow this. So for right now, you guys have a wonderful night. And if you need anything, just text me, call me. Bye.